Hello and welcome back to Cleo Coasters, and today I thought I would bring you a Q&A. Now the last time I filmed one of these, I looked like this. So with a full head of hair and 2.5 years behind me, I thought it was about time that we do another one. So without further ado, let's get on to your guys' questions. So Luke B Dog asks, are there any coasters you wouldn't do nowadays? I'd like to think that I have a limit, but honestly, not so much. I think even like horrible things like spinning seaside coasters or Dragon's Fury that I've hated, I'd do it if it's with friends who have not done it before or something. So I'm gonna say at this moment there aren't any coasters that I wouldn't do. Chris asks, favourite coaster element? I guess the first one that comes to mind isn't even a coaster that's in my top 10, but it's an element that I just enjoyed so much that it sticks out on its own. And that's going to be the Sea Serpent roll on Rock and Roller Coaster in Disney, Florida, to be specific, Hollywood Studios. I don't know what it is, but I think that's the first time I ever went on a coaster. I did a bit of it and I thought, and just particular elements stuck with me, so I'm going to say a Sea Serpent roll. I love the one on the Smiler as well, and I don't know what it is. I think it's just, you get so disorientated and it's so fun, and I guess that's my favourite coaster element. Lizzie asks,
are we ready to what?
If you were to repaint, new colour scheme, not just to clean up, any coaster in the UK, what would it look like, and explain your reasoning? Ooh. The first thing that comes to mind is I love coasters with like a pastel colour scheme, like Knott's Berry Farm has a lot like that. But it's hard to know what coaster I think could do with that. Maybe something really big like Stealth being in like a pastel, either like a turquoise and pink or a lilac or something, I think would be really cool. Thing is, there's a lot of coasters with like colour schemes that it's not the nicest colour but it really fits the ride. Like Nemesis looks rusty, like Saw the Ride is black but it looks quite dark. So I think if I was to repaint any coaster, I would paint Stealth like some beautiful pastel, very American vibes. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Joe asks, top of the bucket list park and coaster? Very difficult question. I think coaster wise, even though there's probably more like typically exciting things out there, I'm gonna have to say Tron. The one that isn't even built yet in Florida. Tron is just something that's stuck with me since the first time I watched a POV, and there's just a part of me that is gonna feel incomplete until I've ridden it. It's the most anticipated and it just looks the most stunning. In terms of parks, I'd really love to go to Dollywood. I don't know how or when or what because it's so far away from things that I have planned, but it just seems like one of those parks that's just really wholesome and really exciting and like almost has a lot to explore, and it feels like it would really stick with you, and it's not just because of the rides, which obviously are a bonus. I think it just seems like it would be a really amazing and memorable place to go. Ollie, Theme Park Badger, asks, if you could add one element to Nemesis, what would it be and why? Now I've tried to think about this, and my first thought is not to necessarily add something because it's very action-packed start to finish. But if it was up to me, that last barrel roll at the end, I always find myself like bracing for it because you've been thrown upside down and that much, so much that by the time it gets to that and it's a little bit rough, I just kind of like, I want it to be over, and that is the only flaw with Nemesis. I would love to change that to something like, I don't know, maybe a really overly banked turn or maybe even a little bump, because I've heard that there are some inverts and flying coasters that have like a weird airtime moment, and I'd want to, if it was up to me, I'd just do it just to see what would happen. Just a little like airtime hill at the end of Nemesis, or like I said, an overbanked turn where you get lots of G's. Yeah, that is all I would change about it. Guess that's the only thing I would add to it. Cleo Coasters asks, best new ride you plan on getting on this year? I mean, in an ideal world, I would say Shambhala at Portaventura or Taron at Fantasyland, but with how many cancelled trips we've had over the last 2 years, I want to put my bets on something like either Mumbo Jumbo or Inversion at Flamingo Land. just if I'm being like super realistic, worst case scenario, because Inversion is finally meant to open and I feel like it'll be something that I like. But at the same time, Mumbo Jumbo just looks really weird and horrible, and I'm just, that bit inside me is a bit curious to do it. So that's my realistic answer. But yeah, otherwise it's gonna be the Shambhala or Taran. Fingers crossed I can do both. Theme Park Vids asks, ride you thought you'd love but actually dislike. This is a really tricky one because I feel like whenever I've not liked a ride, it's generally, I didn't think I would anyway. I'm gonna say the closest thing I can think to an answer for this is gonna be Dragon's Fury, because everyone said it's the best spinning coaster out there and it's super fun, and the layout, even just looking at it when we got to Chessington, looked really long and interesting and exciting, and then we just had a terrible ride on it and it makes me not want to do it again. Essentially, we'd queued more than double what we were supposed to because they were managing the queues badly, so we were already feeling pretty negative. And then I no exaggeration, as soon as we went down that first drop, we just spun, like not a single stop, as fast as you could fathom on that ride, and we ended up coming off miserable, and I just felt so betrayed that this ride that everyone hyped up was so crap for us. I won't say I hate it, because I think I might give it a go again and we might get a better experience, but I definitely disliked it. So yeah, Dragon's Fury, unfortunately. Kia asks, go-to makeup look and outfit for theme park trips. Makeup, I kind of just do whatever, depending. If I'm expecting like a rainy, rough day, it's just like waterproof mascara, concealer, brows, done. If it's something like, I don't know, Oktoberfest, or it's just, I know it's going to be a nice day, or I know I'm going to be vlogging, I'll just generally do whatever I'm vibing with. I like to be quite experimental with makeup, as you can see. So I just, like Oktoberfest, I drew a little pretzel on my face. Some Towers events, I did like Nemesis inspired colours, just whatever. In terms of outfits, I kind of have an obsession now. My go-to is literally theme park sweaters, which almost all of the ones I have are like just second-hand off Depop or vintage, with leggings and comfy trainers. It's become an obsession. I have quite a few, but it's the go-to because in summer you can layer it, take it off if you need. In winter and stuff like Blackpool opening, it's cozy, looks cool, simple, it's technically merch, like, so yeah, that's my go-to. Camille asks, what's your favourite dish at Wagamama's?
Well, I always get the chili chicken ramen. Soup.
And he also asked, who inspires your filming and editing style? I get a lot of compliments on my editing and stuff, which is really flattering, but I still feel like a noob at it. Inspiration wise, when I first started out, it was definitely Julian Solomita, and Coasterbot was a really big one. A lot more recently, because I've been like vlogging since like 2018, Parkspill has become like a massive inspiration. The cinematics and everything, I love that. In terms of like kind of like the sense of humour and the meme kind of editing and stuff, Call Me Kevin just is like 90% of my inspiration for that. It's just that like choppy editing style, the sound effects, the making fun of yourself and the zooms and stuff. But yeah, those four are my biggest inspirations. My friends also inspire me, honestly, as well. Like Luke, he uses a lot of like electronic music, which I've now gotten really into through that. Lizzie's like animation and her humour and the music she uses, just like a ton of things. But yeah, other YouTubers more than anything. Sam Costello asks, what's your favourite UK dark ride? I have two, because I don't know if one of them you'd count. The first one is Valhalla. I don't know if you'd class it as a dark ride or a water dark ride or whatever, but yeah, I love Valhalla. Obviously I've not ridden it since the revamp, it's not done yet, but I just love how chaotic it is. You get stupidly drenched. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a lot of effects, there's a lot of crazy stuff, and it's just carnage and it's insane and it is loud and it's just fun. My more like strict answer is Tomb Blaster at Chessington. I didn't go in with any expectations. I literally just thought it'd be Egyptian Jewel, and then The guns, the way that they work is 10 times better. You can actually see where you're pointing at. And the animatronics in there literally have me and Lizzie like gasping. Like, it is a stunning ride. So underrated and undermentioned in my opinion. But yeah, that's my favourite like straightforward dark ride. And with that, that is your Twitter questions. Thank you to anyone who's asked questions or liked or who's watching. I like doing these now and again just to kind of see what you guys want to know about me, and it's just a fun way to sit and chill and have a chat. But yeah, thank you for watching, thanks for your questions, and I will see you very soon. Bye!
The lime literally went everywhere except on my chicken. Soup. So pretty. Chili chicken ramen beach. What is your usual Wagamama's order? Well, chili chicken ramen is the way to go. Okay, I'm done.